y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Molly, and if you're new here, I'm Molly. Welcome, and I'm so happy to have you here. I'm going to be doing a warm and cool tone eyeshadow look with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism palette. I actually did this look already. I'm going to insert a picture here of the picture that I posted on Instagram of the look that I did that I'm basing this look off of that I already did. I'll leave the handle for my Instagram and everything on the screen if you'd like to follow me. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on this palette. This is just what it looks like. It's a really gorgeous palette. It's just a lot of people don't know how to use the shimmers in this palette because they're basically just really super pressed pigments, and I'm here to tell you how to achieve this look and get the full effect of the eyeshadows, and I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, a lot of people didn't like this palette because of shades like, oh, my hair is on the palette, that's cute. People didn't like the shades like Osiris or Dimension or Throne, and these shades aren't really meant to be used with like a fluffy brush or even your finger, which a lot of metallics are. I found it super helpful to actually use a flat dense packing brush, which you'll see in the video, but that can be a really big deterrent for people who don't know how to use this palette, and that's what I'm here to help you with. So I'm just going to do some really quick swatches of the palette before we get into the tutorial, just so you can see what I mean. Like, even the finger swatches for this palette aren't the greatest. I love the mattes a lot. It's just the foiled and shimmer shades are super hard to use if you don't do a whole lot of trial and error. Like if you just swatch it in the store and it comes off not as pigmented and glittery as it does in the pan, it's going to be a deterrent for wanting to buy it. So I'm here to help you if you bought it, if it's still in stock, if you want to buy it. So first up we have Lucid, which is a super pretty shimmery highlighting color. Next up we have Eden, which is a really pretty peachy orange. Then we have Unity, which is another matte shade. It is a mustardy brown color. It's right here. Next we have Sphinx, which is a shimmery foiled shade. Now we have Osiris, which is a super dark pressed shadow, and it looks really pretty when you swatch it off of the pan onto your finger, but when you drag it on your skin it comes off super patchy like that, and you really have to press hard, but not with the technique that I show you. Then we have Sphere, which is a bright neon yellow, and then of course Obsidian, which is a black. And then we have Dimension, which is another one of my favorites. Next up is Parallel. Then we've got Pyramid. Next up is Throne. Then Saturn. Then Eternal. And lastly, we have Lure. So yeah, if you would like to see how I got this makeup look, just keep watching. So I'm going for kind of a warm and cool tones look, so I'm going to be using these oranges and then this really pretty royal blue shade right here. And we're just going to jump right into it. I'm going to leave a little picture of the palette in the bottom corner to show you which shade I'm using so I don't have to hold the palette up and down. So I'm just going to go in with my Morphe E27 brush. It's just a fluffy brush with the shade Unity, and use that as my transition shade. And just like the Modern Renaissance palette and the Subculture palette, these mattes kick up a lot of dust, but they blend out really well. This Morphe brush doesn't have a name, but it's just a small blending tapered brush, and it's from the Copper collection, I think. I know I've used it in other videos before, but I'm just going to take the color Eden on this brush and work that into my crease, and that's what's going to show up right above the blues that we're going to be using in a minute. Then with the Visanti tapered contour eye brush, and then the number 4, I'm going to be taking the shade Saturn and working that right below the Eden shade. Now for the super fun part, we're going to go in with the shade Osiris, and it's that really pretty royal blue shade that I showed you a second ago. I'm going to try it out on the brush that it came with to see if this packing brush that they included with the palette is intended to use with the shade, because for this shadow, it's really important that you use a flat packing brush instead of a fluffy brush or even a slightly less dense packing brush, because that's how you're going to get the full effect of the eyeshadow. So what I do is I take the packing brush and swirl it around in here. Then I spray it with a little bit of Fix Plus, and I just kind of stamp it where I want it. We're going to be doing a halo look. Yeah, no. This brush is not at all working for this shadow. Okay, so instead I'm going to be going in with this other flat packing brush from the Rose Gold Morphe collection. Again, it doesn't have a name. It's just part of that collection. I'm going to do the same thing. Oh yeah, see? That's how you get the most pigment out of it. Then once you're satisfied with your pigmentation of Osiris, you can go in with Dimension on another packing brush. This is just a flat one. It's not as dense as the other one because Dimension isn't as pressed as Osiris, but you still want a packing brush because it is a very dense eyeshadow and it's a foiled, and you want to get that perfect like sheen of pigment, whatever. Does that make any sense? I feel like that doesn't make any sense, but whatever. You'll see what I mean in a second. So that is the top lid. Mostly we still have got to do a winged liner, but for now we're going to move on to the face. I'm going to take my Maybelline Master Primer in the shade 100, or number 100, and it's a blur smoothing effect, and it's really, really amazing. I've used this one for a few years, and I'm just gonna dot this all over my face where you put primer. And then for foundation, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. I love this foundation. I'm actually going to do an entire review on it, but this is what I'm using. And then I'm just going to wipe away all the fallout. Totally forgot about that. Okay, then I'm just gonna blend that in with my beauty blender. So in this foundation, I am the shade Rose Ivory. Then I'm gonna go in with the NYX HD Studio Concealer, and I am the shade, what shade am I in this? Okay, I am the shade Alabaster. And then I am, of course, going to set all of this because this combo of foundation and concealer really needs to be set. So I'm just going to set that with my Studio Fix. Yeah. And I'm the shade NW15. Now I'm going to go back in with the eyes. I'm going to take the shade Obsidian and run that along my lower lash line. I'm only going to go about 3/4 of the way in because we're going to put something else right here. Then with a Makeup Academy Professional Crease Brush, I'm actually going to use this to blend out my lower lash line. It's the number 315, I'm going to take the shade Parallel and blend out the black with that. Then with a Morphe E18 brush, I'm going to take Eden, bring some of that orange down to the lower lash line. Then with our packing brush, again, I'm going to take Dimension, bring that right here on the inner corner. Last, for the eyeshadow, I'm going to use the shade Lucid and highlight the inner corner and the brow bone. Blend that out a little bit. Now with my favorite liquid liner, I love this eyeliner so much. This is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. I'm going to do a cat eye. Now with my Marc Jacobs pencil, I'm going to tightline and waterline. Now I'm just going to do the rest of my face off camera, and I will come back and show you what I used. Alright, so I'm done with my makeup. I used this little Kevyn Aucoin duo, and it's a very cool toned contour shade, and then it has a highlight, but I didn't use that highlight. Then I used the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer to warm up my face. And then I used my Tarte Blush Bazaar palette. This is what it looks like. I used this shade right here to bring out the warm tones in this look. And then to finish it off, I used my Jeffree Star highlight in the shade Ice Cold. If you don't want to spend the money on this one, you can also pick up the Pixie and Aspen Ovard highlight in the shade London Luster, because they're both very, very similar. Like, this one doesn't have as much of a yellow undertone as London Luster, but they are both kind of a yellowy undertone. That's London Luster right there, and that is Ice Cold. Let me just build up this one so you can see a little bit better. See, they're pretty much the same shade. So if you don't want to get the Jeffree Star one, you can definitely get the Pixie one. Now I'm going to move on to the lips. I'm going to be taking the Too Faced I Want Candy liquid lipstick in the shade Melted Ice Cream, because when I do a really dramatic eye look like this, I like to do a very nude lip. Then over top of that, I'm going to be going in with my Marc Jacobs lip gloss in the shade Sugar Sugar. And then before we go in with mascara, I'm going to go in with my Lil Baby Kat Von D Lock-It Setting Mist. And then per usual, just my favorite mascara. It's a IT Cosmetics Superhero Mascara. You're totally welcome to use falsies. I just personally don't like wearing falsies, but you do you. And that's it. And just take your cat ears off. So I hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. I hope you found it helpful. You learned some helpful tips and tricks. And if you don't mind, if you liked my video, just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and all that good YouTube stuff. And I will see you in my next video. Bye, dolls.